Earlier this year, I sat on a panel at a conference called Things I Wish I Knew Before Starting My Business. The room was full of creators, makers, and entrepreneurs looking for advice and connection. But what stood out to me wasn't the questions, it was the energy beneath them. This sense of shame, the fear of doing it all wrong, and the worry that everyone else had it figured out while they were falling behind. One woman bravely shared that she'd invested in expensive equipment she no longer planned to use. I could feel her embarrassment radiating from across the room. So I told her about the time I charged thousands of dollars in products to my credit card with no plan, no marketing strategy, and how that debt took me years to pay off. The relief in her eyes was immediate. I could tell that she felt seen. Just knowing she wasn't the only one who had made a very costly mistake shifted something for her. Later on, reflecting on that moment, I realized something really important. We're all carrying the same fears, the same doubts, and the same spirals. But most of us are suffering through them in silence. And if this is a collective experience, why aren't we talking about it? My name is Monique Malcolm, and welcome to Spiraling Forward, where I share the messy, real stories behind building a creative business and the mindset shifts that change everything. I am a creative entrepreneur, the founder of Take Tiny Action, and someone who's been weathering the ups and downs of business for years. I've worked with clients, taught workshops, and have built multiple revenue streams. I'm still here, still taking tiny actions, still spiraling forward. But here's what you won't see in my bio. I question whether my work really matters. I get caught in comparison spirals. There are some mornings where I scroll Instagram and I just think, man, I feel like I should be farther along. Maybe I should just burn this all down and do something else. And I am tired of pretending success is neat and polished and like packaged so nicely when the truth is so much messier and much more human. That's exactly why this show exists. Before I tell you more about why spiraling forward matters and what we'll be exploring together, I want to share that this episode is supported by my book, Don't Let Fear Have All the Fun. Here's the truth. Fear isn't going anywhere, but that doesn't mean it has to run the show. In this book, you'll learn how to work through your fears, big or small, so you can chase your boldest dreams or your quietest desires. You don't need to be fearless to take action. You just need to quiet that booming chorus of fear and take your very next small step. You can grab a copy today at taketinyAction.com/book. And with that in mind, let's get into why this show exists and why these conversations matter so much. That moment at the conference revealed something bigger to me. The problem isn't the mistakes that we make, it's the silence around them. When we hide our struggles, we carry unnecessary shame, and really, that shame is eating us up. We start believing we're the only ones falling behind, but the second someone names what you've been holding in secret, that weight lifts and it really starts to shift. You realize, oh, it's not just me. I'm not the only one struggling. I'm not the only one feeling this way. So many of us are walking around wondering, what does it say about me if I admit I still struggle with money shame or comparison or self-doubt after years in business? We hide because we fear that that truth disqualifies us. But here on this show, I want to say the quiet parts out loud. I want to hold space for the truth of this creative journey. Not this highlight reel, not the polished, I struggle, but now I've conquered it, so look at me now version, but the real time, still in the trenches version, because the truth of this is you're not broken. And the very challenges that you're facing, they're not the end of your path. They're the exact space where expansion happens. But if expansion is possible inside of those spirals, how do we actually make sense of them? That's what led me to rethink of the way I see these patterns in my own life. And maybe you felt this way too. Like no matter how much progress you make, you keep bumping into the same challenges, same struggles, same doubts. I used to believe that meant I was failing, like I was just spinning in circles and really going nowhere. But what I've learned is those loops, they weren't circles, they were spirals. And a spiral can feel like you're revisiting the same doubts, the same stuck points, the same fears. But a spiral isn't a circle. It moves outward, it expands, and it grows. Think about a spiral staircase. Every time you loop around, you pass the same wall, maybe the same window. It looks familiar, but you're higher than you were before. You're carrying a new perspective, more wisdom, and greater capacity than the last time you sit in that spot. So even when it feels like you're back to where you started, you're not. You're further along than you think. And that's what it means to spiral forward. Progress does not happen in these straight lines, okay? It happens in widening circles. And growth isn't about never facing the same challenges again. It's about meeting them with deeper wisdom each time. And that's what I want to bring into every conversation on this show. The idea that we can still move forward in small steps despite our challenges, because that's not what defines us. All right, so you might be thinking to yourself, that sounds great, but what exactly will we be exploring on this show? I'm glad you thought that. Season 1 is all about what I am calling the spirals that keep us small. So these are the patterns that we've developed to protect ourselves, patterns that once kept us safe, but now quietly limit our creativity and our confidence. They whisper things like, stay small, stay safe. Don't put yourself out there too much. Wait until you're ready. Everyone else has it figured out but you. They promise safety, but they deliver stagnation. So in the coming episodes, we'll shine a light on spirals like the fear of visibility, imposter syndrome, perfectionism, comparison, and the stories we tell ourselves about success and failure. We'll talk about where they come from, how they show up in our work, and most importantly, how to spiral forward through them. So really, that's the heart of season 1, naming the spirals, breaking the silence, and finding the wisdom they carry. So instead of shrinking ourselves, we expand. And here's my invitation to you. Join me on this journey. You don't have to have it all figured out to help others. Your lived experience has value, and the challenges you're facing right now, they're probably the same ones your clients or your community are spiraling through. I'm not going to show up here with all of the answers. I'm inconsistent, I'm messy, I still wrestle with some of the very spirals that I'll be talking about. And if you do too, if you felt alone in your struggles, if you've ever felt like you've been harder on yourself than anyone else ever could be, if you've wondered whether you're even cut out for this, you're not disqualified. You're in the right place. These are our stories, mine, yours, and the countless other creatives trying to find our way. I hope that over time, this becomes a safe enough space where you'll feel safe enough to share your spiral stories too. And I'm not showing up here as a guru on a pedestal. I'm right here next to you, and I saved you a seat. So come sit with me on my pink couch and let's explore these spirals together. And the good news is you don't have to wait to begin. The very first spiral, the spiral over visibility, is ready for you right now. It's one I know so many of us are carrying, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Lastly, if this show resonates with you, I'd love for you to join me on Patreon. It's the best way to support this work and keep it sustainable. You'll also get some bonus content and behind the scenes access that I don't share anywhere else. You can head to the link in the show notes or visit patreon.com/spiraling forward. All right, so that's it for episode 1. I'll be back next week with another spiral. Until then, be gentle with yourself. Remember, spiraling isn't failure, it's expansion, and you are further along than you think. Welcome to the spiral, friend. Let's move forward together.